of molten lava. Now, that is a very big mega...
Where like Half Dome is?
No.
Is Half Dome in Yellowstone? No, that's Yosemite.
Yeah.
Sorry, just kidding. JK.
Yeah, you got it.
It's like National Park, Yosemite National Park. That's where Half Dome is, right? Or Redwoods. It's in that area.
You're talking California. We're talking Idaho.
Yeah, I got it.
Montana.
Yeah, we're talking Montana.
Anyways, Yellowstone is a fucking giant volcano.
Wait, is Yellowstone in Montana?
Yes. It's in southern Montana, and part of it actually...
Goes into Utah, or no?
Goes into Idaho.
I didn't know that.
And I think even parts of Wyoming.
No, I thought Glacier National Park was Montana.
Here, I'll give you my phone. Look it up.
It's driving me crazy. I have to know.
If that goes off, it is scary. Because besides the fact that people living in the general vicinity will be incinerated, it is the plume of ash that will coat all of the agriculture in its way, in the jet stream that will carry it. We are actually in a decent location if it does go off, because we are in front of the jet stream, so to push it away from us. But it's a giant ass volcano, and that is happening in the midst of all of this.
So it's in Wyoming. 3% is within Montana.
Oh, I thought
and
it was
then
around.
1% is in Idaho.
Okay.
So approximately, this place is all over the place.
It's a big place.
So
big
it's
area.
96% of the land area of Yosemite National Park is located within the state of Wyoming. Another 3% is within Montana, with the remaining 1% in Idaho. The park is 63 miles north to south and 54 miles west to east.
Big.
That's huge. It's basically, it's over 2 million acres.
I heard it was the size of Chicago.
That's insane.
So if that erupted, it's kind of big.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
It's a big
so
volcano.
if it's pulsating, that just means that it could be breathing to blow?
Yeah. Well, it does it about every 100,000 years. More do. One thing they talked about doing, NASA was, and I think they're actually involved with doing it now, is they're planning on drilling it and...
Like relieving the pressure.
Right, like a giant pimple. Like instead of just like letting it pop, if we go to the side...
And drill a hole, drill another hole. But how do those drills not melt?
Well, that's the thing, is when they get to it, they'll know.
Is there any metal that doesn't melt? Or one that's like harder to melt?
Yeah, exactly. There's
Like,
stuff that doesn't
grades.
melt as fast as other things.
It's fair.
It has to be so hot. Mostly their bits will be coated in a kind of a glassy rock, the molten stuff.
Oh.
But so what they want to do is kind of perforate this giant pimple of a volcano,
And like
so if there is any pressure that wants to be released,
it'll go through that.
It'll flow out rather than explode. Because if it explodes,
Could you do that with a volcano?
That's the plan.
Have they done that before? Or is that like a new
totally
science?
It's totally new.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane. I wish
that shit's probably a lot worse than Corona.
That's true. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. See, okay, that was the other thing that I was going to say. So you felt fucked up about your thing. So mine is like, I read this article and it was saying that how prisons are like an incubator for coronavirus.
That's fun.
Or they could be. They have the potential to go into that. So people are like, let us out. Here's my thing. It's super awful if like all of them get sick and like the ones that can't take it die, and then you free up a lot of room in the prisons. Like, what's the big deal? No one's hands are bloody at that point, right? Like, it's just like...
No, the problem is the way the system's set up is that they have to have medical care. So the doctors have to take
What
care of
if
them.
we don't? Because that's the thing. Because if they're choosing between a 65-year-old and a 16-year-old, so they both get coronavirus, and then they're like, oh no, but this person's lived their life because they're 65. We're going to save the 16-year-old because we don't have enough respirators.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not going to give those respirators to a prison person if they're choosing between a 65-year-old healthy man that is paying for his insurance.
I would hope that they choose to treat the prisoner as a secondary citizen. Yeah.
Like, or like scum, you know, like just
Whoa.
let him die.
This is so dumb.
All I'm saying is that we could free up some room in the prisons and then they're not overcrowded and everyone that's really super bad that has touched like a kid or something can go back to prison. Right?
I mean,
fucking kill them all. Gas
Jesus.
them. Oh no, they got gassed by accident.
Honestly, I think that
This is awful.
prisoners are more
Awful person.
insulary than most people. They're probably the safest.
They are.
They get very few limited
Except if
visitation rights.
one goes to a hospital. They used to go into the eye clinic all the time when I worked there.
Yeah.
So if one comes into a hospital and like they touch coronavirus, touch their face, and then boom, their person gets it, and then they get in a fight, break out, boom, everyone has it.
Yeah. They just spit in each other's mouths a lot.
And they do, and they stick their dicks in places and broomsticks in other areas.
So there's nothing to be scared of, guys. Everything's gonna be
Think
fine.
about it. You could be in prison getting ass raped while you have the coronavirus.
I think this is a
You're at
good
home
practice for
for what not to say.
yeah, exactly. No, I think oh gosh, she's got it. She's got it. Shoot her!
If I don't come back to the next podcast, I've already buried my body in the backyard.
Jesus Christ. I think this is a good practice to get us off of our hamster wheel.
Yeah.
We all get in this we become cogs in this machine of life where it's comfortable and it's nice. We're used to our prisons. We're used to our own kind of
Our own shit. So you're switching up the fucking schedule. You're changing what you believe in. Everything changes from here on out because the way you decide to, what is that called? Categorize things in your life. So you're choosing to find what's important. Like you're prioritizing right now.
Absolutely.
And so when you prioritize, when you have no idea how to plan or what the next week's going to bring, you prioritize in a way of things that are most important to you. And the things that are most important to me right now have nothing to do with my job, my money, or I mean, it has everything to do with my health, the people I'm with,
yeah,
and the things we love. Like it's prioritizing to me as far as we're going to get through this because I know that there's so many people that I love and that people that love me. So if there's someone that we know that's in need, we're going to help them when we have the ability to. If we need help, we know the outlets that we have for people to help us in our circle. And so I think you just prioritize that, and then it makes you realize that this rat race that you live has nothing to do with your fears, and it brainwashes you to make you think that that is all you have is this rat race to pay your bills, to pay these things on time, to do this stuff, to keep going, and to just one point get to a point in your life where you can do whatever you want, which is retirement. And I think times like this, you prioritize and you realize that you can do all of those things. You just have not prioritized to chosen to do those things. So I think that's what I'm realizing about myself anyways, where
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, there's certain stuff that I would love to do and I don't do those things. And now that it could all end the next week as far as not having that financial support and not having a job, which goes into the financial support, but like if I lost my car, if I lost everything,
Yeah.
I would still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would figure it out. I would adapt. It would suck, trust me, but I would adapt
Yeah.
because I'm a person.
We would all adapt to whatever's going on.
But that also makes me realize how for granted I take my mental health. Because if I wasn't mentally stable or I relied on something to make me mentally stable, this would be a very scary time. Because you don't know if you're going to have access to your prescriptions, or you don't know if you're going to have a therapist. And if that all breaks down on top of something that's stressing you out like this, it makes me feel for, I mean, I've always had a soft spot for homeless people that have mental health issues.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel for the people that have relied on these things and now have the potential to fall from that. Because mental health is a huge thing that goes into this. Like this last week, I really was like, I don't have a mental health issue, but this is what I imagine of someone that has a mental health issue go through every single day, where you're crying, you're stressed, you have no idea what to expect, you have anxiety, and then you go to depression, then you laugh hysterically, and then you go back to depression. I like did not understand what was happening to my brain, which was just a normal stress.
Right. That's how you deal with stress.
And then I would go on cleaning sprees and clean the house or clean the bathroom really well. Wherever I was standing and I got stressed out, it would get real clean in that area real quick. And so but I mean, if I felt that way all the time and did not have control over it, I couldn't imagine. Like, that would suck. And I think that's what everyone has to realize, like, especially with war and famine and things like that, where people don't have access to toilet paper and paper towels, and people don't have access to food and all the shit that happens. Like, I 100% agree with that too, where you can never look down on a country that has chosen to keep themselves safe with whatever means that is. But it's just a crazy fucking time. It's a weird way to prioritize your life, and it's a weird way to see what you would want to do with your time if you have nothing but time. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I plan on sanding and finishing a lot of furniture if I get quarantined.
Fair.
I want to reupholster that chair. And I've always wanted to do furniture. I've always wanted to fucking do something of restoration. And I'm going to have tons of time to do that. So at one point I'm like, is this really bad that the world's telling us to shut the fuck up and just be in your homes?
No. This is the best time to do it. We're connected. As long as we stay calm, we keep level-headed, we will have electricity and internet. And this is the best time to use social media. This is the best time.
Yeah.
It's almost like we've been prepping for this.
Yeah.
Well, at least on a social level. We have all the resources we have to stay connected.
I will say that the Melissa Villaseñor, whatever her fucking name is, from fucking
Villaseñor,
SNL. If anyone is wanting to follow someone on Instagram that does ridiculous craft stories, it's her. And she's quite funny. She's actually really great. I almost prefer her just by herself. Like, her
videos are pretty funny.
Her videos with her being at home alone are probably the funniest I've ever seen.
Her Owen Wilson impersonation is really fucking great. Ridiculous.
And her No Doubt one is pretty great too. She was listening to No Doubt and crocheting the other day.
Oh my God.
No, she was drawing her dog. That's Tuesday. And I totally took time out of work to watch her draw her dog and listen to No Doubt because it was just so great. It was satisfying.
It's crazy to see that what's going to happen, the shift, and how people
do their day to day.
Yeah, just like everything after this. Because I've been thinking about that for a long time. Like with live bands, like music is it's something that I'm in on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And where is it going to go after all of this? Because they're like trying to figure it out. They're like, I'll do a show live on Facebook. I'll do a show on YouTube. I'll do, go to my Patreon and donate and I'll send you a video or whatever, or like live stream this. So we're experiencing a lot of that now just because of necessity. But what is it going to force? What is this going to force out of necessity?